FM News Talk 97.1. On-demand audio.
A destroyed fire truck. Somebody handed me a megaphone. I didn't have any prepared remarks. But I knew I could cobble something together in front of the crowd that would comfort and reassure them.
Thank you all. I want you all to know, you can't go any louder. I want you all to know that America today is on bended knee in prayer for the people whose lives were lost here, for the workers who work here, for the families who mourn. This nation stands with the good people of New York City and New Jersey and Connecticut.
I was up there trying to say something about how we cared about them, and the country was supporting them, and the guy kept screaming, "I can't hear you, I can't hear you." And I yelled back through the megaphone, "I hear you, the world hears you, and the people who did this will soon hear from us."
I can hear you, the rest of the world hears you, and the people who knocked these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
If you've not watched this on National Geographic, normally I take issue with some of the stuff on Nat Geo, but this was a fantastic documentary about what happened on 9/11 from the president's perspective, as told only by him. You don't even hear the interviewer's questions, and very, very illuminating. And I mean, parts of it just you just absolutely get chills. And no matter if you're in the WYBC area or in St. Louis KFTK, there's one event that you really need to check out, and that's riverbendmemorial.org. It's going to be the 10th anniversary remembrance of September 11th. That's at Lewis and Clark Community College. And again, it's Riverbend Memorial, serving our local heroes. And the star speaker is, of course, American hero, decorated Marine, #1 best-selling author. And you know him most, as you also know him from War Stories on Fox News. Oliver North, good afternoon, sir.
Dana, it's great to be with you again, and I'm looking forward to seeing you out there on September 11th. What a wonderful thing this memorial is.
Yes, absolutely. And I remember 10 years ago watching this from my living room, and I just had my first child when all of this happened, and it was the dichotomy of what I held in my arms and what I saw on television was absolutely unreal. And here we are 10 years later. From your perspective, especially from, I know you've been traveling and been involved in Afghanistan and doing so much. How much has changed for the good in the 10 years since this has happened? From your perspective, have we really gained a lot of ground, and are we safer?
Oh, I think we are. There's no doubt that the young soldiers, sailors, airmen, guardsmen, Marines that I cover in Afghanistan, Iraq, Persian Gulf, Indian Ocean, Philippines, who I've been with for Fox News, have made our country and our countrymen much, much safer than they were before 9/11. There's also no doubt that there's challenges yet to be answered. There's young Americans in harm's way at this very second while you and I are talking. There's a great challenge for first responders, and that the people who did this have not yet given up, even though we had another victory last week, taking out the new number 2 for Al-Qaeda in Pakistan, right across the border from Afghanistan. There certainly are still challenges, but there is no doubt in my mind that we are all safer as a consequence of it. There's also no doubt, because I've interviewed so many for the World War II documentaries that we did, over 40 of them. And in interviewing every one of them, I would ask, if there were a participant in World War II, what were you doing when you learned of Pearl Harbor? Who were you with, and how did you learn of it? And I've now done that with these young Americans serving as what I call the 9/11 warriors. And I've asked every one of them over the subsequent years, the decade plus that I've been covering them in war, what were you doing? Where were you? Who were you with? And they can all remember it vividly, just like you do, watching it on television.
Right.
I was actually on Northwest Flight 238 from Detroit to Reagan Airport when it happened, and our flight was diverted to land at Dulles. We never actually got to where our cars were parked for days because of all that had transpired right up the road from Reagan National Airport at the Pentagon. And so, I'll never forget sitting across the aisle from my colleague Tom Kilgannon and seeing this as the pilot announced, we're diverting, we have an emergency, the wheels went up, the flaps went up, and we took off instead of coming down the river into National Airport because the plane had just hit the Pentagon right in front of us. And so pulled hard right and flew to Dulles instead. So every American over the age of 10 will remember exactly who they were with, what they were doing, how they learned about 9/11. That's why this memorial service, the Riverbend Memorial is putting on, is so important. And certainly hope all your listeners are going to show up because it's a great cause to help first responders and those in the military that have suffered loss or who have fallen. It's a great cause. And you've heard me say this before, Dana. These are heroes.
Yes.
Heroes are people who put themselves at risk for the benefit of others. Not somebody wearing a spandex suit and a cape. Not some guy who catches a pass in the end zone or, makes the winning run at a ball game. A hero is a person who puts themselves at risk knowingly for the benefit of others. And that's what all of these first responders have done. That's what all these police, the ones that I cover. My only beat for Fox News, soldiers, sailors, airmen, guardsmen, Marines, first responders. That's all I cover.
Right.
I don't have to run around after politicians and wait for them to say something memorable or Brittany to shave some part of her body. All I do is cover these heroes. And this is for them. And that's why I'm so pleased to be out there. And I'm looking forward to seeing you there.
Well, yeah, it's going to be a fantastic event, and I know too. As we talk about where we are 10 years later, and you can't help. And I know you have a column over at Human Events right now, humanevents.com for those listening, that discusses all of the developments going on in Libya and everything with this Arab Spring and having all of this unrest as we are preparing to mark the 10th anniversary of 9/11. It is a little unsettling when you look at some of the stories come out, and then we see that Gaddafi now and his wife and kids have fled to Algeria. And I think the question that everyone has right now, and you obviously know so much about this, the question that everyone has right now is that whenever you have a vacuum in the Arab world, usually some Islamic fundamentalism comes in and takes its place.
Not filled by friends of ours, let's put it that way.
Right.
Gaddafi, it's very personal for me. He sent his goons to kill my wife and kids at our home in Great Falls, Virginia, back in 1987. And so I must confess, this is not just something I do as a detached person, looking at it from afar. This is very, very personal for us. So I'm probably not an unbiased, and I acknowledge that when I did the interview for Fox the other day. I said, look, I'm not an unbiased reporter on this.
Wow.
I'll tell you what I think of this guy.
Yeah.
And my hope is that the end result of all of this, and I'm not a big supporter of this administration, as you know.
Yeah.
But my hope is that the American people will stay with our troops, will continue to support organizations like Riverbend Memorial, who will do the right thing for these first responders, no matter what their politics are. This is the right thing to be doing. It didn't happen for those of us who served in a place called Vietnam.
Right.
It's still happening for these troops, and God willing, it's going to continue. And it all began on 9/11/01, this 10th anniversary.
That's absolutely right.
I'm pleased to be out there with you.
Well, it's going to be a fantastic event. Riverbendmemorial.org is the website. You can get tickets there. 618-717-4481 is the phone number. It's in Godfrey, Illinois. Make sure you go and get your tickets and see Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North speak. And you can hear the unbelievably moving stories that he tells on this show from him in person. It's going to be amazing. So, sir, thank you for everything that you have done for this country, that you continue to do for this country. You are one of those American heroes, and we really appreciate your sacrifice.
Bless you, and I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
I get to keep company with heroes.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show, and we look to talk to you again soon. Thank you.
I look forward to it. Thanks.
All right, take care. All right, folks, your calls up next. Keep it here. More of The Dana Show when we come back.
This is The Dana Show.
Dave Glover